Hi, welcome to the award-winning Ed Brown Show. Hey, whatever you're doing, we got the second half of that great Glen Arden Track Club win in North Carolina at A&T. We got the young ladies here, plus the fact we're going to have Dr. Williams, a young man that's been to prison, but he's really has showed what can be done if you really try. So we're going to start with the athletes, the young ladies from Glen Arden that went down to North Carolina A&T and won the 4x1 race. Welcome to the Ed Brown Show, Nada?
Nada.
Nada. Nada. I knew it. Well, I got it. Nada Perella.
Yes.
Nada Perella. Tell us a little bit about how did you get involved with coaching?
Well, I've been coaching for about 4 years now. I actually grew up with the Glen Arden Track Club. I started running when I was 8 years old.
8?
8 years old.
And now you're 80, right?
Yeah, basically.
You're like your coach, Larry. He runs forever.
Exactly. That's pretty much what I did. So now I'll probably be, I've been coaching for a while. So.
Good.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit, introduce your athletes here and tell us a little bit about your trip down to North Carolina.
Okay. Well, we've been, of course, training hard all season long. And myself and the other coaches knew that they had the potential to win and, you know, of course, had the potential to be good competitors out there. And we were able to put it all together and actually come up with the national championship.
Hey,
so,
national championship, you heard it.
Yep.
Okay, introduce the young ladies here.
Sure. We have 3 of the 4 young ladies who won the 4x4. To my direct right is Leah Hall Robinson. She was our 3rd leg in our relay. And she went out there, PR'd, and ran a great leg and put us in a good position.
Okay.
The next person is Lauren Harris. Lauren ran our 2nd leg. Lauren also ran the Open 400 that same weekend and had to run 400s multiple times in multiple rounds and was able to run one last good time to help us get that W. And Sierra Leonard here was our anchor leg for the relay. Sierra actually ran 56:11, which is, I'm sure, one of the fastest splits.
Wow. Wow.
The fastest split of the day, for sure.
Great. Let's hear a word from each one of them. Go
Sure.
down the line again.
My name is Leah Hall Robinson. I go to St. Pius, and I'm 12 years old. And when we just came from North Carolina, and we won the 4x4, and I was 3rd leg, and I PR'd. And the whole team PR'd, and we ran a 3:59.7. And
Okay, that's fine. Next.
My name is Lauren Harris, and I go to Grace Brethren Christian School, and I'm 12 years old. And when we went to North Carolina for the national championships, I had to run the 400 6 times,
Wow.
and I think that I did pretty good in them, and we won the 4x4.
Hey, congratulations. Next.
I'm Sierra Leonard. I go to Bullis School. I'm 12. And during the national championship, I ran the 200, the 4x1, and the 4x4. And
Well, that's great. Okay. Well, tell us, you had one youngster couldn't make it, and the mother sent a nice letter to the show. You want to tell us about it?
Yes, the first leg on our team, her name is Tamron, and she wasn't able to make it. I guess she had another obligation she had to attend to, but she did want to thank you for inviting her, and she basically in the letter just speaks about how great her teammates are, and she mentions that us as coaches are volunteers, and she's looking forward to next year and returning to hopefully return to the podium.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Well, I want to congratulate you on your win in North Carolina, and keep up the good work, because what happens is that you are the future. We're proud of you. Continue to do what you're doing, okay? And what we're going to do, we expect you to be back next year with more medals, because Glen Arden is #1, and we appreciate it. What we're going to do is just have a few other coaches who happen to be parents of some of these athletes here. So we'll be back in a second with these people. I always talk about, participating, volunteers. Here's some young men that are volunteering, and this is what we need you to do. Volunteer for something. See you in a second. We're going to have those coaches here. Hi, welcome to the Ed Brown Show. And I mean, this is the most important part of this winning the medals and everything. It takes volunteers and dedication. And we have some coaches here that have done that. And they have produced these young people from Glen Arden Track Club. They're out there in the hot sun, the rain, you name it. They're dedicated. And I like to welcome the part of the coaching staff. Is more than these people here. They just were able to get off from work, But anyway, we got Larry Colbert. Now, he's been out there 30 years, so, he runs, he does everything. But he has some individuals here that have given their time, and this is what you should do. And they'll tell you a little bit about it, the rewards they get when they go down on national track meet, like in North Carolina A&T, and come back with a national medal. Welcome there, Larry. Tell us a little bit. We know about you, all the things you tell about these people that give their time and effort to make Glen Arden #1.
Well, Coach Brown, I'm glad you mentioned that, because it takes more than 1 or 2 people to develop a program such as the Glen Arden Track Club. With these coaches that were just sitting here, we could not do it without them. And themselves, they have parents, they are parents. The only thing, they also have kids that's running on the track team. They have Coach McCullen. He has sent the kids off to college in football, etc., different things of that nature. Coach Kenny has his young lady daughter here now as a national champion. So you're talking about coaches that really puts into the program. Coach Nader, I coached her 4 years at Eleanor Roosevelt. I think she was a state champion there the whole time she was there.
Wow.
She went off to college on a
Congratulations.
scholarship.
Thank you.
Now she's bringing it back to the club, doing an outstanding job.
Giving it back.
Giving it back.
That's what a lot of people don't realize. You didn't make it by yourself.
No.
And so you have to reach down and help somebody else. There's nobody out here, start with the president,
That's true.
has made it by themselves. It's dedication of volunteers. This is what we're stressing. And then we're stressing this because here we have individuals that are products of volunteering. And what do you get? You get a national championship. Okay, let's start with McCullough there. Tell us about your involvement. You in football. You say you're going to be late. You on my show, but I appreciate putting the show, before football.
Exactly. Oh yeah, that's okay. No problem. This is a wonderful cause. First of all, thank you, Mr. Brown, for inviting us here to recognize, first of all, Glen Arden Track Club and these beautiful young ladies that I had the opportunity to coach this year, who are national champions. I've been with Glen Arden Boys and Glen Arden Track Club for about 15 years now. My son ran with Glen Arden when he was 9, 10, and actually I got a win to Glen Arden when my goddaughter, Jade Mitchell, she started out with Glen Arden a few years back before then, and I attended the Nationals in University of Florida, and that was the I said one of these days I'm gonna have to be part of that program. And, yeah, now I'm here. Now
Fantastic.
I'm here. Yeah.
Kenny, I know I go out there and I think Kenny's out there getting a suntan or something.
Yeah.
He's out, he's running back and forth and everything. But Kenny, he does everything around that. Every time I look, he's running this, he's running, he's gathering. Tell us, Kenny, how did you get involved in that?
My daughter, I have an older daughter that ran track. We just happened to pick up, we went to the track itself. And she started running, and one of the coaches said, would you like to run? And she said, yeah. So from that point on, which was in the early 2000s and so forth, we started actually participating from that point on. And then in turn, later on, I came over to the Glen Arden Track Club. I always knew about them because of their size. They have over 200 or 300 kids, and from that, I just knew it was better. It was better for the organization or for my family for them to actually go over and move over to Glenarden. You know, and I've been proud to be able to be one of the coaches of the Glenarden Track Club. As you know, I've even coached all three of your grandchildren.
Right.
You know, from that standpoint, I enjoy that. I enjoy the kids, but especially when they win and when they participate, when they're able to get on that podium and you see the parents, you know, taking the pictures and so forth. It's just an enjoyment from my standpoint to actually see both the child and the parent to be able to see that reward of that hard work. Because most of the time they start, even when we go outdoors, they start at the beginning of March. And they don't finish until the end of January.
Yeah, I know it's a long time, you know. Coach Varela, you tell us about yourself. You know, you gave us a little bit earlier, but tell us more about getting young ladies involved in there and being competitive.
This year was my first year directly working with the 11, 12-year-olds, and it was definitely my pleasure. I worked with high school girls before, and it's a little bit different dealing with younger girls, but I think it was, we were able to establish a good connection, I think partially because I am a woman, I can relate, and I did run when I was their age, so I think that I'm very empathetic when it comes to them. I remember training and working really hard and missing the swimming pools during the summer and certain parties that you want to go to, just because you want to be on that podium at the end of the summer, and it makes it all worth it. So I think that I was able to relate with my athletes very much so, and we just, as coaches, we had goals for them because we see their talent, we see the skills that they can develop, and we set our goals, and we were able to accomplish many of them.
Yeah, fantastic.
I'd just like to shout out to Mr. Brown, Coach Kenny. He was the coach for those 9 and 10-year-old boys that was on last week that he couldn't make it. But he is the head coach of that group.
Oh, I see.
So I just had to plug that in to let you know.
Well, I want to let the people hear it from people that are doing something, and you all are doing something positive for the young people. I want you to make an appeal for volunteers. We'll start with you.
Well, volunteers is people that comes around, stands around, just look. When you look, you see what's going on. There's always a job that you can do. All you have to do is, hey, I can help out here, I can do this, I can do that. Don't look, just come ask. We'll put you to work.
Colin, what do you
Well,
think?
I would like to say, like, I know that everybody's busy in these times and everything, and however, but our youth, they need us now. I think more so now than before. I think when we were coming up, we were a little stronger than the youth today, and I think they need a lot more assistance. I think some of these parents out here that, I know they're busy, but they have time. Come spend some time. Even if you can't coach, come to speak. Talk about your experiences. Talk about how you can instill something positive to these young men and young women. So I think they could find time if they really wanted to. Yeah.
Okay, Kenny, tell us.
I believe everyone has a duty to give back.
Hey.
We all were young at one moment and in time. So from this point, you're older, most likely you've had a child and so forth. So you should be able to give back a little bit of your time to be able to give back to the community. And most importantly, it's about the community. When you see the children being a volunteer standpoint, you see that reward. And often, especially some of the older coaches that have been there for a while, they get to come back. And they remember you and being familiar from the standpoint that they understand that you shed light to them, for them to be able to succeed wherever they are at this point in time.
Ada.
I think it's necessary for adults and young adults to help give the younger kids a vision for where they want to be and what they want to do now and for the future. In my mind, I told them that they can make history this year, and that they are, and they're a part of something special. And I think that, 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, this is something they're never going to forget. And I think it's important that as coaches, as older people guiding them, that we help mold their vision and guide them as they're trying to develop themselves.
Great. You all are heroes of the year. But I say that because when you volunteer, and this is what my appeal is made, and I try to emphasize that, nobody made it by themselves. Everybody out there, like I said, from the president on down. Somebody helps them along the way. Volunteering is so very important for parents. Even if you don't have a child, you need to go out and participate. Give the kids something to look forward to. And you all, I'd like to congratulate your group, the coaches that are not here, the volunteers now. Glenn Arden is #1. Okay, be back in a second. Hi, welcome back to the third segment of the Ed Brown Show. I mean, this is a terrific month. You know, we're in August, the March on Washington, and we find Dr. Williams here. You know, a little sidekick there. He bring outstanding guests here to the show. And Martin Luther King, he thought about the young people, the future, and everything, and he gave his life for the young people in this country, all young people. So what he's saying that we have a young man here with Dr. Williams that has done outstanding job as far as his life is concerned. He was in a bad situation when he was young, and he paid the price for it. And now he's on the road back to success. This young man has really shown that mentoring is very, very important. And Dr. Williams with the evolutionary elders, he and I, we feel strongly about this. The evolutionary elders getting out there working with the youth. Dr. Williams, you're doing a terrific job working with the youth. Again, you're bringing a young man here that has had negative and positive things in his life, but he's on the road to the positiveness of it with the help of mentoring young men like you. Now, tell us about Mr. Brown here.
Well, Ed, if Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. could lift up individuals, then certainly I believe that I can do likewise. And I met Marquett about 6 months ago, and I saw something in him that really impressed me. And I said to myself, waiting on his call, I said to myself, I want this young man to go forth. I had no idea that he was a master of so many things, as he will discuss today. But to repeat, Martin did it, and I can do likewise. How you doing, Marquett?
I'm doing good, sir. I'm doing good.
Tell us about it, Martin, right?
Yes, I'm just, I've just been so grateful to have been able to meet Mr. Eugene Williams and just be inspired by him as an educator. And then what I have been through in my past. You know, I was a product of the foster care system in Washington, D.C. You know, my foster family was able to actually grow with me, and I maintained a relationship with them all the way into my teen years where I was actually adopted. But they were actually able to instill in me how to take advice from positivity, you know, take positive encouragement from people, or just take, you know, pretty much encouragement in all fashions to grow. And to take those things to better myself, better my life, better my surroundings, to place myself in better situations. You know, you have to be around like-minded individuals. So they would always encourage me that, you know, the elders that would be more on the right path, encouraging me to reach a certain level of success, I should maintain a relationship with them. And now I come into a point where early in my high school years, I started to follow some of the wrong distractions. I was kicked out of school. I was placed in an alternative school structure for a number of years. And God blessed me to take that as an experience. And I was able to make it out of the alternative school structure and back into regular curriculum, where that was a struggle, challenging. But I was able to, you know, challenge my senior years, maintain good grades, get into sports. I worked a significant amount of time throughout those years. But midway into my senior year, you know, I started to really dissect with the wrong crowds. I really started to let those crowds actually feed my enthusiasm. You know, I really allowed those crowds for me to want to have to feed and drive off of them until it actually landed me going into prison. So at 17 years old, midway into my senior year, I was facing robbery charges, and you know, it wasn't a forte for my life. It wasn't a forte for my life. And my family was very, very surprised by the action when they heard that this was, you know, something that I had been accused of and obviously placed in prison. And my family sat down with me and they said, you know, well, no matter what happened, whether or not you were guilty, you know, or you were innocent, the state will come for you now. You know, you're a warden, you know, they have your name in their system, and now it's designed for you to be, you know, trapped into this. You're going to have to take the initiative to live your life because the state is going to come for you. And my family told me that. And a month later, the state came for me with a warrant, fresh out of nowhere. You know, still in my senior year, so I'm still in school. And I just happened to be blessed to continue to keep going to school, where my family had bonded me out of prison. I was able to still maintain the good ethics of getting my grades in order. And I was able to graduate. I graduated from Suitland High School.
Congratulations.
Yes, sir. I studied electrical engineering my senior year.
Great.
So I graduated on May 31st, and you know, I tried to go and move forward. I had college scholarships, a number of positive engagements. I was played privately for a basketball league. I was involved with my church and a number of things pertaining to that. And the summer started to, you know, kick in and started to go forward. I couldn't accept my college scholarship because I couldn't leave the state by fighting my charges. So I couldn't, you know, go on to, you know, the better learning at the college that I thought saw fit for myself. So I got applied to apprenticeship program in Odenton, Maryland, and they set me up with a job working for Electrical General Corporation in Columbia, Maryland, and I was like, you know, really feeling well on my way. And I ended up saying, hey, you know, some of my high school friends, they weren't in this type of lifestyle. We can still be engaged. And I started to go out to the movies and little bowling and skating with them until one day we went out to an event. And one of my so-called friends, they got into, you know, altercation. And they came to me in relevance of being involved in this altercation. And the police showed up present to the location, and I was placed in prison for a third time.
Mm-hmm.
You know something, Dr. Martin Luther King was really, really big on jobs and justice.
Yes.
Now, in your particular case, even though you're in community college now, you are going and looking for opportunities, job opportunities.
Yeah.
Some doors have been closed in your face. And you certainly have had your experience with the justice system.
Yes, sir.
You know, but you are blessed.
Yes, sir.
And I want you to continue to tell us that story because it's so interesting.
Yes, sir. So pretty much moving forward, I was, no matter what was going on, all the positives, the judge had, you know, stated, you did a crime, you're going to do the time. And the judge had given me 10 years, all suspended but 5. I had to serve 5 years in the state penitentiary. And you know, it was very heartfelt for my family. You know, I was a pretty big motivation for my brothers and my foster family, my biological family. But prison, with my heart, with my mind, was actually able to be somewhat of a very good transition for me in my life and maturing, accepting responsibilities, understanding what it is that I would have to do to move forward and be productive. While in prison, I was able to be introduced to a program called Toastmasters International.
Okay.
That was founded by a family, a husband and wife called Tony and Frank Story. And they had been able to bring the Toastmasters International Speaking Club to one of the JPRU pre-release prisons that I was incarcerated in. And, you know, and it was relatively new to the system. And I was like, let's go, let's go. And they were actually able to help me learn etiquette skills, learn speaking skills, learn leadership skills. And I was a part of this program while in prison on an international level, meaning the progress that I made in this program while still in prison was ranked internationally.
Do you have a job yet?
Right now, I don't have a job. But what I do have is I've built myself into being self-employed. I came home from prison. I was incarcerated in July of 2006, and I came home of September in 2009. And you know, coming home was very hard for me. I couldn't receive jobs. I had to be placed to obligations to parole and probations, and I tried to apply to a number of locations all throughout my city, Maryland, Virginia, Washington, D.C., and it was very hard for me to receive employment. Very, very difficult, very difficult. I would make it all the way to the you know, the interview structure, and then they would actually put down the opportunities of employment for me. And I wanted to try to get into school, so I applied for college, and they told me that I couldn't do so without utilizing the state taxes, no matter where I was. I would have had to have some type of state tax history in order to go into college. So, you know, I just, you know, I didn't know what to do, so I started to work for private contractor. With Bowlins Air Force Base in the commissary, and I was able to do so. I met some young men that worked for the military, and they were able to have personal reconnance over me being employed through them working state security for the military, and that was a great experience, you know, up until I needed certain certifications and I couldn't go on anymore. A lot of home-owned businesses. I work for a property management company. And
you have your own business now?
Yeah, they actually helped me with property management. And
so you went into property management?
I went into property management, working for Jasmine Worthy's apartment cleaning. And it was great. I got a chance to earn some good money, get a chance to learn how to have a business etiquette for yourself. And
so what do you think that, we have to wrap this up, what do you think that young people that are having problems like that, how should they, this mentoring program that Dr. Williams is talking about and everything, and Martin Luther King, he thought quite a bit about, you know, the youth having the problems with job opportunities. What do you think is the road and how peer pressure is so very important, that young people have to be very careful who they associate with and that type of thing?
I actually see fit to build your personal etiquette, build morals and responsibilities for yourself, being able to step up to the plate for yourself, but being able to take the etiquette and the things that go on around you as just to help mold your character. And with utilizing that, I really see fit for a lot of society is, you know, possible home-owned business, going into employment for yourself.
That's it. Well, we're running out of time now, but I like to say you ended that with a very positive thing, and that's getting involved in the business world.